Hi everyone. Today we are going to be learning about interval notation and set notation. Interval notation and set notation are two ways that we can represent a range of numbers or a group of numbers. So for example, if I wanted to represent all of the numbers in between 5 and 10, I could either use interval notation or set notation to represent all of those numbers. Okay, so we're going to start with the example. The set of numbers between A and B, including A and B. So on a graph, what this means is we're talking about all of the numbers in between A and B. So I'm going to shade those in. A and B are both my endpoints, and notice that I put closed circles where A and B are because I'm including A and B in my range of numbers. So interval notation would look like this, A comma B with brackets around A and B. So what the brackets mean, that a number is included in the range. So this is saying any number between A and B, including A and B. For set notation, we use a brace, which looks like this. Okay, and we start by putting the variable x, and x represents any number in this range of numbers. Okay, and we put a line after it, and the way that we read this is the set of all values x such that A is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to b. And all that really means is that x can be any number in between A and B, where A is the smallest number and B is the largest number. Notice that the symbol here is less than or equal to, and the symbol here is less than or equal to because we're including A and B in our range of numbers. So the next example is between A and B, including A. So what that means is we're including A, a solid circle, and we're going up to B, but B is not included in our range of numbers. The way that we would represent this for interval notation is starting with the bracket around A because we are including A, but we're not including B, so we use a parenthesis to represent that B is not included. For set notation, again, we start with x. So the set of all values of x such that it's going to look very similar to the one before. Okay, A is less than or equal to x, but this time we're not including B, so we're just going to put which is less than B. Okay, next one says between A and B, including B. So this would be the opposite, open circle at A, closed circle at B, and we're talking about all of the numbers in between. So because we're not including A this time, this will be the opposite of the one above us, a bracket around the B. Again, very similar, the set of all values of x such that A is less than x. Notice it's not including A, so not equal to, but we are including B, so we put less than or equal to B. All right, the next example is greater than A, including A. So I'm going to put A just somewhere in the middle. It says including, so I'm going to put a shaded circle. And all the numbers greater than A means that I'm talking about anything that's larger, anything to the right of A. So for this one, A is the smallest number, so I'm going to put A on the left, and I'm going to put a bracket because we're including A. And the way to represent the largest number, or all the numbers to the right, is to say that the other endpoint is infinity. Okay? Now when we put infinity, and we're also going to use negative infinity later on, we always use a parenthesis around infinity. We never use a bracket. We just say that infinity is not included because it is not technically a real number. Okay, so for set notation, we are going to start off with x, okay? The set of all values of x such that, and for this example, we're going to say that x is any number that is greater than or equal to A. All right, so x could be any number as long as it is larger than a, and again, greater than or equal to because we're including a. All right, the next example, greater than a, so same thing but open circle at a, and the only way that this changes the problem is we have a parenthesis around a because it's not included, and our set notation only changes that we have x is greater than a, not equal to. Okay, and then the next one, less than a, including a. So we're talking about closed circle at a and anything to the left is shaded in. So for this one, we're going to say the smallest number first, which in this case is negative infinity. Okay, and again, remember what we said before, around infinity, we always use a parenthesis. And now we're saying up to a. So the largest number in this example is a, and we're including it, so we're putting a bracket. Okay, for set notation, the set of values of x such that x is less than or equal to a. All right, and the next example, less than a, so open circle and all the numbers less than a. Okay, and again, starting at negative infinity up to a, not including a, so parenthesis. For set notation, the set of values such that x is less than a, and again, not including a. All right, and the last one that we're going to talk about is what if we wanted to represent every single number on the number line? All right, and the way that we could do that using interval notation is to say negative infinity, the smallest number, all the way up to positive infinity. Okay, and we use parentheses for both of those. All right, and we don't really have a way of writing this with set notation. What we're going to do is we're just going to write all real numbers. And there is a symbol, kind of looks like an R with a double line, and technically, and that's what it means, all real numbers. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples with actual numbers. All right. So it says for each of the following, write the set of numbers in interval and set notation. So for this example, the set of all real numbers between 4 and 10, not including 4 and 10. Okay, so we're saying between 4 and 10 interval notation, we're going to use parentheses because we're not including 4. Up to 10, and again, we're not including 10, so we use parentheses for both. All right, for set notation, we are going to say 4 is the smallest number. It is less than x, which is less than 10. Okay, all right, I want you guys to try the next 3 examples on your own. All right, thank you.